In the last video, we looked at the various aspects of the Urartian economy. This time I wanted to do a quick overview of their language. In 1826, a German scholar named Friedrich Eduard Schultz discovered several cuneiform inscriptions in Tushpa. Cuneiform is one of the oldest forms of writing and was widely adopted by many languages at the time. However, Schultz soon realized that the inscriptions he had found were clearly different than any other known language in the region. The language that Schultz had found was Urartian. A year later, he found the Keleshin stele, which contained texts in Urartian and Assyrian. It dated back to 800 BC, and it seemed to be the much-needed key to deciphering a lost language. However, before Schultz could finish his work, he was killed by Kurds in 1829, and most of his papers were destroyed. A few years later, another attempt was made by R. Rosch, another German scholar, but he and his group of 38 were found shot and killed. In fact, numerous expeditions were prevented either by weather conditions or Kurdish brigands, until finally in 1840, part of Schultz's original papers were found at the Vannes Castle and published in Paris. These were some of the first information to appear in Europe about Urartu. So what did Urartian sound like? The YouTube channel I Love Languages attempts to reconstruct ancient languages, and here's their take on Urartian. Now, if you're Armenian, you may have noticed that doesn't sound anything like Armenian. That's because the Armenian language did not descend from Urartian, but would replace it later on. Nevertheless, a few Armenian words were possibly borrowed from Urartian that are still in use today. For example, Arziv, meaning eagle, Sur, meaning sword, Kharkharel, to destroy. The list is long. I'll leave some links below, but the implications of this is that the two languages had early contact and had a long period of bilingualism. The Urartian language would stop being written after the fall of the kingdom in the 6th century BC and would go extinct shortly after that, to be replaced by the earliest forms of Armenian. But we'll get to that eventually.